is the 5th of September, 2019, WiKiSPEED Stand-Up. Why don't you take it away, Lauren?
Yeah, this is Lauren Salter, Gabriel Island, British Columbia. Past week, not a lot that's directly involved, but I got a lot of kind of peripherally involved things, and a lot of crosstalk. I went to one of our island Linux groups last night, and anyway, lots of I got some help and information and stuff. So and I think I sent out a thing about a link. So in crosstalk, I want to talk about that. I think we may have talked about it before. And coming week, pretty much the same. Finish the reporting. Ping Joe to get the reporting for 2018 financial stuff. And I do want to get a hold of the Python code and load it into Pi, and also order the cobbler and the breadboard, and also simultaneous in parallel. I'm going to try and run some of your Python on my rock crawler. Blocks. Just springing time to exercise, so I can my head is clear. But that's going okay. And I think basically, I anticipate I'm going to be running into some basic electronics stuff. So I printed out a cheat sheet and some other things, ohms and watts and resistance. And in crosstalk again, I have a question about resistors. What kind of a grab bag of resistors I should get, if I can, because some of them have like 2 kinds of resistors, some of them have more. And that's it for me.
Okay, it's Michael Olchuk, Canada. This past week, I posted the 2 previous weeks' stand-up recordings because I forgot last week. I figured out how to post updates on GitHub from the WikiSpeed info account. So I took a zip file of everything that was Wikifactory. I found it download actually, and then I uploaded that to, or at least I think I uploaded that to GitHub. And I edited the README file on GitHub, and I basically copied it to Wikifactory. So actually did get something done this week. I couldn't figure out how to contribute files from my own GitHub account. It appears that as a user you can't ask for that. You have to contact the admin, and then the admin can grant access and needs to know your username. So Lauren, I'll need your username on GitHub, and I'm going to try and add myself to the GitHub. That's what I got done last week. There's no new videos posted, but we do have more some files on GitHub now. For next week, which is basically a carryover, edit the Wiki project README file, and I get the GitHub README file to reflect the latest things that we've done, which I haven't got done yet. Edit post video of the Pi Serial 2, which I haven't got any recent progress on that. And drop a schematic for the infrared diodes and sensors so that we can wire them up to wire the beacon Pi up and get it working. I've also something I forgot to in the progress, I started a description of the objects and the methods that I think we're going to start with for the Little Red Wagon, and kind of the inheritance of which objects are going to have to be inherited by which fundamental object, because we need access to the internal data and stuff. Um, anyway, that's I should be posting that next week here. I'll post it to the group, and we'll maybe get some comments. Seem to get comments on questions about code and stylized stuff. No blocks, and giving myself a probably a 5 out of 10. I actually did get something that not as much as what I want to at first, but something. And that's about it for me.
Okay. Retro, I'm going to say a 5. And the team 9. Cool about GitHub. I'll try and find my account. I've been using SourceForge. I did get a GitHub account. I don't know if I shared it. Anyway, so I'll follow up on that. And process improvement. I think people are really asking. I went to the Linux meeting. People are really asking, "How's the Little Red Wagon project?" So, I think, yeah. So I think it's at a point where focus on it, and maybe the backlog and the get back on Trello and the backlog. And I was just looking at something, trying to remember what it was. I was looking at it was a little email I get, and it says ways to improve your life, or it was something to organize your life, and like item 3 was Trello. So it's mainstream. Anyway, that's not. I'm not going to do more than that on the process improvement. So I'm done.
Okay, I guess I gave my retro early, so I'll just repeat it. I'm going to give myself a 5 out of 10. Team, sounds like you're getting stuff done. I'm not really getting much. I'm going to stay with base because we do have some progress. Process improvement. So for Trello, you wanted to start a new board. Is that what we're starting for the Little Red Wagon? I don't think we have a Trello board yet, do we? You're still muted. Hello, Lauren. You're muted. There we go.
Sorry. Yeah. So do we have is there an LRW already on Trello? I was looking at it. Trello, but I don't remember. Yeah, but I don't remember if there was LRW. Anyway, I need to get better with Trello, so I could try and start I don't know if I've got the rights to start a project.
You can start it, but if you want it to be owned by WiKiSPEED, it's got to come out of WiKiSPEED info.
Yeah, right. I don't recall the password for that. So.
Yeah, that's the one that owns all the Trello boards.
Okay.
Just so that they show up on the same screen for you.
Okay. Right. So I had it at one point. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can get you the password if you want.
Okay. Yeah.
You said you had a bunch of other crosstalk stuff?
Oh, just because I went to this Linux meeting. First of all, there's a guy who designs analog, and he's he does various things. He's a musician, but he designs equipment, especially audio equipment. And he likes tubes, so his email has the word analog in it. Anyway, uh, he mentioned something like, and he said it was the best kind of open source CAD, but I think we went through this discussion before that there's a good circuit board design open source CAD. And I sent it to you, KiCad. Yeah, you're aware of that?
Yeah, I don't believe I've actually gotten back to it to learn any more about it, and it's good for board level stuff. It's not
Yeah.
as great for trying to.
It's not a general CAD. It's not what we were looking for. I misunderstood when he was telling me, because he was pretty excited. He wanted to make a 2-level board because he had a whole lot of soldering to do and connecting to do between 2 parts of this project. So he was excited about KiCad, and they, oh, you know what could work though? So CERN, the, super collider in Geneva, they just adopted KiCad, but it would be cool to see, do they have an actual CAD? They only have one giant thing to design, a big 51-mile donut or whatever it is. So I don't know if they have that much regular CAD aside of circuits. But yeah, even the circuit, I don't know exactly. That's all kind of peripheral to them. It's not software. It's not data. So I will take it on to check out CERN and see if they recommend any CAD. Because there should be a CAD that, an open source CAD that's taking off right now. I got to the point of like Blender, but Blender is really more of a video thing, but people use it. And in fact, the latest Blender, I sent you a thing where the Blender, the guy was designing a very geeky thing, a bolt or something like that. And he was using Blender.
Well,
and
with the beam lines, they've got to have a CAD package for doing the mechanical part, the structural part. I mean, all the beam lines have concrete bases, and they've got to be aligned to microns and stuff like that. So there's got to be a fairly powerful CAD package behind that.
Yeah, the question is, have they like signed on to some and given them more kind of convergence and support to a open source one, like they have with KiCad.
Oh, I see.
So, but I'll check, and that's kind of it's always worth checking back and seeing what's around and what's going on and everything. So I know we kind of went through this with SketchUp and some of the other ones, but it doesn't seem there's a really, and like I said, the Blender looks sort of interesting because I'm also interested in Blender for video editing and stuff. But and I think the guy was saying you can design. I think he was actually designing some. I don't know what you call a threaded part that you can move up and along. And anyways, with Blender he could show how it moved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, animations are a whole lot of work, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I went to a course with a guy who did Shrek, the movie, who was one of the animators. And he showed us his movie that he entered in a film festival himself, that he did by himself. And it was 11 minutes long, and it took him, I think, it was 14 or 15 months.
Yeah, I could believe it.
And that was with, that was a long time ago. Anyway, let's see, Linux meeting. So many things. Yes, so I might have mentioned that it's easier for me to sit outside like here and use my tablet to do code because I'm comfortable with that. Everyone else hates. There's a thing called swipe on tablets, which is a soft keyboard, like Gboard or any of the keyboards. And swipe is the thing where you slide your finger around and it figures out what word you're writing it. The weird thing is, if it's a short word, it has trouble with it. If it's a long, complicated word, it figures it out easily because it's more unique. And you don't have to be exact. If you're near the letter, it figures it out. Anyway, that's how I did my Python course on the tablet. And I used to, when I worked for companies, I used to use X windowing software, Hummingbird, XSpeed. There's a bunch of expensive ones to go to the Linux box to the server, but then run a windowing app like we had a thing called Platform from Toronto that was a job scheduler. And for like SAS, the software I use. So I was asking the Linux guy here what he uses in. So AnyDesk, have you heard of AnyDesk?
AnyDesk is like a multiple desktop thing, and you switch between programming and regular stuff.
No. AnyDesk is a VNC type software, a remote desktop software like that help desks use, but it's a very adept one. I guess there's a free version, and he said it was pretty cheap to get the actual version. So I just installed it on my laptop, and my next step is I want to get my VBox Linux where I've got Python IDE. So I want to get the software and get the address, because it gives you a IP-like address, 3 sets of 3 numbers. So that was my next step, and then I want to do the Pi. I want to put C. Hopefully, I don't know if it'll work, but if it'll be like Zoom. But I want to see if I can get AnyDesk on the Pi, so that I can use my tablet, and then that allows me to skip having a screen for the Pi, because I took my Pi to my Linux meeting, but I didn't have a screen for it. So I started looking, can you use the tablet? Well, VNC use a remote software, and then you can do stuff on the Pi. You just need to, you need to do something on the Pi first. Get its address.
Yeah, the other part of the AnyDesk, right?
Yeah, or I don't know if, essentially, yeah. So anyway, that's kind of I'm excited about that, because I looked at, and they said VNC is fine but it had a lot of difficult kind of commands to use, and try this and try that, but and then it had a bunch of either proprietary or open source stuff with various ups and positives and negatives, and I didn't know which one to look at. But this guy he's like he remotes to everybody's desktop on this island, because he supports all these machines. He's the network guy. So AnyDesk sounds cool. Could be useful for us too. Because I think with that kind of thing, more than one of you can go to the same place, and you can collaborate. So I will carry on with that, and I'm kind of excited about that. So that's kind of interesting. And then, honestly, more than one person asked me, how's the little red wagon going? They want me to show up at the meeting with the thing following them, following me. So. And I remembered I did not put the Pi. I didn't have the Pi when that was just a plastic berry box that I put on the thing. So my next step is to make a much more sturdy combination of a protector, maybe with a little of that. What's that styrofoam that's kind of thin and bouncy? Anyway, something to put under the Pi and over the electronics, so the Pi won't crush the electronics, the Pi will be safe, and the whole thing will take a roll.
Wow, that's I think you might be overdoing it for a prototype, but okay.
Oh, you think a little too soon? Because also, were you going to use your case for your Pi on the LRW, or for weight, are you going to take it out of the case?
I'm probably going to be using the Pi for the beacon because I really need multiple serial outputs on the beacon. It might end up being the Arduino on the
right
wagon for the
yeah bit. Yeah. Okay. All right. Then I better get. Can you send me the specs on your Arduino, or the one that you're likely going to use? So I'll order one. Or the order, your final order confirmation.
Yeah, I don't think I bought it. I think I just used one I had. It's
okay.
It's a Dewey. I'll see if I can find something close.
Yeah. Just interesting. So like maybe there's a command with Arduino that you can say what version are you in configuration.
No. Inside the Arduino IDE, when you connect up to it, it tells you what model.
Yeah. So if you just copy that thing, then I'll make sure I get the one to see. Cool. Okay. I'm feeling chatty. I got out running today and feel really good. So
something about a resistor pack or something?
Yeah. So okay, I still haven't got my breadboard, Pi cobbler, and then so I need LEDs, resistors, and so I've used to see grab bag of electronics, $10 for 300 parts. So I looked at the local place. I'm sure it's pricier than other places. So it was coming to like $50. I need I don't have. I want to keep the Pi or have the Pi handy so I don't have to turn off my laptop monitor or the big monitor I attach to my laptop. It's HDMI and I can hook the Pi up to it fine. It's great for extended work. But if I want to just look at something, I've got a small monitor, but it's VGA. So I'm getting HDMI to VGA cord, $15 from the local place, and then the Raspberry Pi cobbler, which is about 12 or 13 bucks. Assembled. There's a kit too, but I'm going to get the assembled one. Anyway, yeah.
For the diodes that I'm using, the diodes
yeah.
they're rated for 20 milliamps. So because you're driving them from 3.3 volts on your Raspberry Pi,
right?
You go through the math, and I can't remember the size of the resistors.
Yeah, okay, but I can use the formulas because it's 3 and 5 or something, 3.5 and 5. Is that right?
3.3 volts is the Raspberry Pi header, and the diode is like 0.7 volts. So you subtract the 2, you get 2.6. The 2.6 volts divided by, let's say, 10 milliamps, so that it's being driven relatively well. Gives you a resistor, and then you're going to have to use standard sizes, so it's going to be like 4.7K or 3.3K or whatever.
Yeah, okay. All right, so what you need is the LED spec and the 3.3 volt, the output from the Pi, and then you do the formula to figure out what resistor to use. Cool. Okay. Do it.
And then for the infrared detector, similar kind of thing. You power it up from 5 volts or 3.3 or whatever it is, and then it has it's an infrared detector, so it's kind of like a phototransistor, an optocoupler.
Right.
So you drive it with 3.3 volts, and you need to see at least a milliamp, 2 milliamps, or whatever it is, go through it. We calculate out the resistors, but the phototransistors actually come, or the detectors actually come with a circuit diagram suggested, but I don't think they have the resistor values on it. They give you kind of a little formula for it.
Yeah, I didn't quite hear that, and it was also complicated.
Basically, there's a little diagram with the photo
It comes with the photoresistors. Yeah.
Yep. And then you have to calculate how big the resistors are. I don't remember off the top of my head. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. All right. Then I will probably ping you if I have questions.
The schematic anyway, because I think I've had it for like 3 months and I haven't done it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to be a milestone when we the first resistor gets attached to the Pi, the first rangefinder, the first beacon. Yeah. So the other thing I should start to charge. I'm going on these meetings with various volunteer groups, and they're starting to use Zoom, or there's one called Crowd something that I used today. And so the first thing they got on, and there was hundreds of people on this call. It had a running comment, a thing down the side. 3 people from this organization, and this guy is talking in a room, and it's just all echo. So, and there was hundreds of people commenting. I didn't know if they'd see it, but I said, there's a horrible echo. The sound is terrible. Get the mic closer to your face or put on a headphone. And he immediately put on a headset, and it was great.
So you're
They're using Zoom. They're using Slack. What's that?
You're volunteering all over the place, are you?
Not all over. No, not a lot. And by the election, it'll be over. So it's only 2 months. But yes, that is a block. Because I already volunteered for 1 training session and two phone banks around September the 15th. And there will be more between September 15th and the 21st or whatever it is of October.
Okay.
Interesting though, because this conferencing stuff that I'm used to, it's sort of funny and interesting because they said, and now we'll go to so-and-so, and then there's a 2 or 3 minute break before so-and-so appears on the screen. And I'm trying to figure this out. So the background actually is it's interesting that we experimented with the different. Actually, I got a friend who's just got Ubuntu installed on one of his laptops. He teaches computer science at George Brown College, and he consults with Bell Canada and the police and everything. But he only has a BlackBerry. no smartphone, no tablet. So I haven't been able to video conference with him. And no camera on his laptop, but or I don't know exactly what the deal is. I think he's using a different laptop and he put Ubuntu on it, so he's ready to video conference. So I'm going to try Zoom not on the Pi, but on my one of my Ubuntus.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I'm getting the warning that we're going to be out of time in 10 minutes.
Yeah. I don't have much more, and like I say, I'm a little bit free right now. But so you take off whenever you feel is good. I'm going to continue with AnyDesk. I'm going to try and get this AnyDesk thing going.
Okay, well, it'll be interested to hear what it does. We use VNC all the time, and VNC scares me because there are versions of it that install with no interaction on the screen. If you have admin access to the Windows machine, you can do a remote install and it's scary.
You're saying it's a security risk?
Some versions of VNC are actually quite stealthy, yes.
Yeah. Quite what?
Stealthy. They're
stealthy. Yeah, right. I got you. Yeah. So VNC is one hacker tool.
Well, some versions of it, because it's open source.
Yeah.
You can mess with it and put nasty code inside it, right?
Yeah. Right. I'm reading a book. Okay. Last comment. our network guy gave me a book from 1996, the Fugitive Game, how Kevin Mitnick eluded the federal authorities. It's old. It's really interesting because it's like they're talking about the same stuff, but they're saying of the three computer security experts in law enforcement in the U.S. at this point. Or there's another thing. There's an article from the New York Times saying, in the future, police may have carry a gun, something, and a laptop.
Yeah, like network stuff is all going to be accessed from a laptop. Yeah.
And it's all like very and like there's the hackers. There's like 4 hackers that they're worried about in the States at that point.
Yeah, instead of 4 countries.
Okay, all right. Good talking to you. So I will look for the GitHub stuff. I know I corresponded a bit about it. We'll sort it out. Yeah. So.
It's in WiKiSPEED info/LRW. That's the project name.
Oh, okay.
If you can find it, great. You should be able to download it. But in order for you to upload to it, I need your username when you figure out what it is.
Yeah. Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. I got it. So you're able to upload and download your stuff, but to share it, we need to register kind of together.
I can upload from the WiKiSPEED info account. I haven't yet managed to get it so that I can upload from my own account.
Oh, okay. So this is something I don't know much about. I didn't set this up then. Somebody else did. Is that right?
I think I set it up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Along with other stuff, if you can send me that sequence, that URL.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I think I'll put it in my stand-up notes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Watch for it. Thank you. Sorry for being so chatty.
That's fine. We'll talk to you next week.
Okay. Bye now.